have a special treat for you today. I'm sharing a video from the series of interviews I've been conducting with Rachel Virginia Hicks, better known as Granny or Sis. She was born in 1926. She's about to have a birthday. She's soon to be 97 years old, but she was born in the Junaluska section of Cherokee County here in western North Carolina where I live. In this video, she talks a lot about what school was like when she was a girl, talks about the different subjects that they studied, about what it was like, what she had to take home to get her lessons done in the evenings. Also really interesting, she talks about the change that occurred at some point during her school career, where kids went from only being able to take their lunch or their dinner, we would say, from home in a lard bucket, little dinner pail, or whatever they carried it in, to when the school actually started offering lunch to the children. Well, when that happened, they kind of had a barter and trade system going. So Rachel and other children, they could bring food items from home and then trade or barter for their meals. So she talks about that. She shares how many meals she got to eat for bringing some of her mother's canned blackberries. Probably my favorite part of this video I'm sharing today is there's just one little section that just really struck me. And she talks about how she's just saying that she got to actually meet her grandparents, all of them but one, if I remember right. And it's just the way that she worded it and just the expression on her face and the tone of her voice just really told me that, all these years later, she's 97 years old, not only those grandparents, but her parents have been gone for many, many, many years, decades even. And she's looking at it with her mind and thinking about it and valuing. She's just put such value. She's so grateful that she got to meet those grandparents. And that just really struck me, the importance of family. In the Appalachian culture, family plays a huge role. It's so important. So important. I've often said, you've probably heard me, that we all have this kind of family tree growing in our brains. And then when we meet you, we want to know where you fit into it. Well, for Rachel, she's thinking back to that, and she's thinking about how blessed, even all these years later, how blessed she was to get to actually know, to see, and to know what they were like, her grandparents. And that just really struck a chord with me. I hope you enjoy this video. If you missed any of the previous interviews that I've done with Rachel, look in the description below for a playlist. So everybody called you Sis.
Mm-hmm. Everybody called me Sis.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my husband called me Sis till the grandchildren came along, and they called me Granny, so he called me Granny too.
Yeah. When you were in school, mostly what did you study? I mean, you had, of course, I'm guessing they taught English and math and history, and
they just give you books that they wanted you to have in school, and that's what you didn't prefer or anything. They give you. We had English, we had geography, we had history, and a reading and a writing and spelling.
Yeah. Did you have much, when you left school at the end of the day, did you have much homework to take home with you? Did you have to do your lessons at night, or did you do it mostly at school?
Well, sometimes we'd have arithmetic mostly at night, yeah. And I liked reading. We had reading. Reading was one of the things we had all kinds of. Yeah.
Did your teachers ever read books to you, like pick a big long book and read it to the class a little bit at a time?
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah. Do you remember any of them, any of the stories that you liked?
No, I can't remember them now. But Miss, shucks, what was her? I even forgot her name now. My fourth grade teacher, fourth and fifth grade teacher. Adelaide Brown was her name. Adelaide Brown. She'd have us sometimes after we'd come in. We had 15-minute recess of morning, and then we had lunch, and then in the evenings sometimes we'd get another 10, maybe 10 minutes recess, and then come in, and wouldn't be long till be time for the bus, and she'd have these books that, like you say, she'd read a story to us.
Yeah.
And she'd read so far, one day, and then she'd read till she got the story finished,
Yeah. I bet everybody looked forward to that.
Yeah, it's just good. Just something that she wanted us to kind of understand, I reckon, that we wouldn't read otherwise.
Mm-hmm. So in those days, did all kids go to school? Was there some kids that didn't go to school? Their parents taught them at home? Like today we would say homeschool. Or did most kids go to school?
I never did nobody back then teaching their children at home.
Mm-hmm.
They went to school, or they didn't go to school. They just stayed home.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But most of them liked to go to school because it gave them somewhere to go.
Right. Yeah.
If their parents, some of them just didn't get up and get their children up and get them ready to go to school.
Maybe they needed some kids were needed at home to do the work. Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
they had.
Yeah.
They just didn't get up and get their children ready to go to school. Some of them didn't.
Yeah.
I know that it's hard on some. Some of them didn't have much to eat and much to wear.
Yeah.
They did. People don't realize how people was back then. They didn't get these handouts to them.
Yeah.
If you didn't have it, you didn't have it. You had to work for it if you got food on the table.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you did leave your books at school, or did you bring them back home with you, or every day?
Yeah, we'd take our books back home with us. We'd carry them in our arms. Well, few of them later on got to having a book bag once in a while. As they got to getting those book bags in, they could carry their books in a book bag. They call it.
If it come a big snow, would you go to school, or would you stay home that day?
If it got bad, they didn't
have school.
Because it's so cold, especially, like on Junaluska, you had to build a fire and a heater to keep you warm.
Yeah, yeah.
So you carry your lunch in a large bucket?
And carry your water from the spring to drink out. You had to keep your little cup with you to get you water.
Yeah.
Because you took a dipper and dipped it out of buckets and poured it in the little cups. Cause the ones that.
Yeah. Did you ever carry your lunch in a lard bucket? Did you take what you was going to eat for dinner? Did you take it to school?
Yeah, we had it in a bucket. Yeah.
Did you usually just take a biscuit or cornbread or something like that?
We had usually biscuits with egg in it, or some kind of, maybe meat, where to find some meat and have it in our biscuits, and it's things like that, like we had at home.
So when you were going to school, there was never a cafeteria or lunchroom?
They started a lunchroom when after I was in, I don't remember, where I was in the 4th or 5th grade in school in Andrews. They started the lunchroom in the old white building, upstairs in the old white building. That's where they started the first lunchroom. Yeah, and I know Mama gave me you could take canned foods, if you had some canned foods, and then Mama gave me a half-gallon can of blackberries to take. That half-gallon can of blackberries, that fed me lunch 5 days.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, they'd take the blackberries, and people that had canned vegetables,
Yeah.
they took, whatever. But I can remember that was the first thing that Mama gave me was that half a gallon of blackberries. But anyhow, that's why they started the lunchroom. Children, if their parents wanted to send some canned foods,
Yeah.
they used that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was women and young girls that was in high school worked in the lunchroom. So I didn't know that one girl's name that lived up at Topton. She worked there. She was the one that kept up with they wrote their names on a piece of paper, and each day they'd mark it off when we'd eat.
Yeah, where you had people that had bartered with their canned foods. Yeah. So when you were in school and you learned about geography, I guess, did they talk about, the whole world, other areas of the world, or mostly about your area, or?
And it was in geography. It was in other countries, and I enjoyed history too. History was about other countries too. Different things, and geography was. Yeah, I enjoyed it too. Yeah. After we got up 4th, 5th, on up through that. I quit school when I was in 5th grade. And then I started back. They put me in the 6th, and I went along the 6th, and Mama got sick, so I quit school. I didn't go back to school no more.
She needed you at home to help.
Yeah. And then I started standing out at Miss Taylor's. I helped her son. There's some men working on Wolf Creek building that little dam, and she needed somebody to help her. And I went down and helped her. And then I stayed with Herman Mahaffey's wife first. She was expecting a baby, and she had 2 little boys, and he worked, and he wanted me to stay with her so I could get somebody to go get a doctor or whatever. Get somebody to And
so you started working from the time you was in basically 5th or 6th grade, and then worked the rest of your life, I guess.
But I liked school. I did.
Yeah.
I liked reading. When Daddy when I started school, Mama's sister Inez and the other children lived back. I lived up at Bowling Branch, right across from where Grandpa lived, where I told you he lived. There at that ridge, end of that ridge where Vincent Lee used to live. And Inez, Mama's sister, and them lived up there. You know where Webb Moss Taylor lived? You don't know nothing about it.
No.
But going up Junaluska, the last bridge that you cross, going up Junaluska, that house on the right there was Webb Moss Taylor's. That's where we lived right below it then. But anyhow.
Did you like staying with the ladies that you stayed with and helped to work? Did you enjoy that?
I did.
The lady with the little boys, and then the other one that fed the workers?
Yeah, I did. I liked Miss Taylor. Her name was May Taylor, was her name. She was whistle hunt, and that property up yellow house where you go into Andrews, that house up there.
Yeah.
Right there was a cemetery.
Yeah.
That property back up where the cemetery is belonged to her daddy.
Okay.
That was, She was whistle hunt.
And they both, I guess both of them paid you to stay with them.
Yeah. You know how much I got? I got 25 cents a day.
Wow. Yeah.
25 cents a day. I washed dishes and helped. I had to get up at 3 o'clock from morning to 3:30 morning. I had to get up and pack the men's lunch while she was fixing their breakfast, And I'd pack their lunch and done stuff like that. But her daughter had gotten married. One of them, Louise, married Howard Whitehouse. She'd got married and was on her honeymoon, and they come back, and she was going to help her mama, so I went home then. And her son Jim got killed, and that, what did they call that war? Or this, some of the other boys that was my room in school got killed in.
Was it what would it have been? Well, wouldn't it have been Korea or?
I can't remember
Was it Korea or? Probably that would have been too late too.
It was after I'd quit. Yeah, I forgot what they called that. It didn't last long, but there's two boys. Jeep McLean, they called him. His name was Edward. McLean was one of them. But it's amazing what you think back and look back and see.
Yeah, you've seen lots of changes in 97 years, haven't you?
Yeah, sure have. When I think back, my grandmothers, I got to see both my grandmothers. Mm-hmm. My grandma on Mama's side, Mama's mother and Daddy's mother, and Daddy's daddy. I got to see him, but Mama's daddy had died. Yeah, he died when they were children. He had cancer. Her daddy did. His name was Melvin. Melvin. And you know, my husband named our son Melvin.
Yeah.
And I don't know how come he do it, but he did.
Yeah.
It's just Melvin Brawley. And I don't know where he come. I think that Brawley was a friend of his in the CC camps. He was in the CC camps, Louis was.
Yeah.
When we got married, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they wore uniforms just like the soldiers' uniforms.
Yeah.
And they did all kind of work. They built roads and done things like that. The CCs did. Lots of these mountain roads. Them old mountain roads.
Yeah.
They dug them. They made wheelbarrows and shovels. And they didn't have these big machines to do them with.
Yeah.
They built lots of them. And when it was time in the year when things got dry, they had what they call fire. You know, they'd send, some of them had tires on top of these mountains.
Yeah.
And they'd send two to, like that down I told you about going toward Schwabensville, and then on Warrior and different top of these mountains, they had
fire towers.
They'd go up and watch for fires.
Yeah.
They could see smoke.
Yeah.
And they fought fires. Yeah, they did.
Are you going to have a party for your 97th birthday?
It's just another day. Just another day. This old saying goes, another day older and deeper in debt. But I don't do that. We never did.
Yeah, that's the best way, to never go into debt, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Well, he always tried to work and, no.
Well, you've had a happy life in the mountains, even though all that hard work, starting when you was in 5th or 6th grade.
Oh, to me, till today, it don't seem like hard work to me. It was just, I don't know, just what you do.
Right, yeah, yeah.
And enjoy it.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me.